Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Monday, January 5th, 2015, around 8:09 p.m. in Belleville, Massachusetts. It's clear out, but mightily cold. Bundle up. The temperature is going to drop like crazy. It's a little bit windy, and it's not going to get above 32 for at least the next 7 days. And Thursday's high temperatures could be only about 19 or so, and in the morning could be below zero in many areas. So bundle up, dress in layers. Some news to report: Slovakia won the bronze medal for the World Junior Hockey Championships that have been played in Canada, and tonight's gold medal game is between Canada and Russia. Go Canada! And one more thing before I do my final video blog of the night. It's down to the nitty-gritty for the Hall of Fame voting. More and more writers are releasing their ballots, and it looks like Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, John Smoltz, and Craig Biggio are safely going to be voted into the Hall of Fame tomorrow. Mike Piazza's barely hanging on, but there's a possibility he might get in, might not get in. It doesn't look good for Mike Piazza, but we'll wait and see. I'll do a video blog tomorrow about the Hall of Fame and the analyst. And that's about it on that. My third and final video blog of the night is about my personality profile, who is game show legend Chuck Woolery. Chuck Woolery has been hosting game shows for over 30 years. He's famous for 2 and 2. He also was a country music singer and actor and other stuff. Chuck was born and he grew up in Ashland, Kentucky, and he served in the United States Navy for 2 years. After getting out of the Navy, Chuck had some jobs before going into the entertainment business. He was a wine consultant. He was a sales representative for Pillsbury, Pillsbury, and he was a truck driver. And he became a country music singer, and he formed a singing duo with Bubba Fowler, and they called themselves the Aunt Gaggy Group. And their biggest song was in 1968 called Naturally Stoned, which was in the top 40 of the Billboard music charts. And they didn't have too many hits after that, so they broke up, and Chuck continued his country music career singing. He dabbled in acting, and he was Mr. Dingley on the classic children's show Newzoo Review. And also Chuck appeared on singing on the new hit parade, which was produced by Chuck Barris Productions. And in 1974, Chuck Woolery appeared on Tattletales with his wife Joanne Flug, who was an actress, and she was a game show panelist as well. Chuck and Joanne were married for about 10 years, and in 1974, Chuck Woolery appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and in that appearance on The Tonight Show for Johnny Carson, he went to host a pilot for a game show called Shopper's Bazaar, which was produced by Merv Griffin. It was the forerunner for Wheel of Fortune, but that pilot didn't sell. But about a few months later, Chuck Woolery was asked to host Wheel of Fortune, produced by Merv Griffin, and he acceptably agreed. On January 6, 1975, Wheel of Fortune made its debut on NBC Daytime, and it was a big hit from the start. They got a big rating, a 40 share. Chuck continued to do his musical career as well, because he only got paid maybe $60,000-$70,000 a year hosting Wheel of Fortune. That wasn't too much money back then for hosting a daytime show on NBC, and this country music was pretty good. And by 1981, Wheel of Fortune was a big hit on NBC, and some of the things Chuck said when he was on Wheel of Fortune, like he's had the enthusiasm, and every time the contestants spun the wheel, he would cheer them on. Some some great quotes he said on there when big money was coming up. Can you hold on to it? But they missed, and stuff like that. They were good. 1981, he wanted to be paid like up to $500,000 a year, but like because $500,000 a year was the salary for the host of Family Feud at the time, Richard Dawson. But Merv Griffin balked, only gave him $350,000. Chuck Woolery just left Wheel of Fortune hosting it, and it went to Pat Sajak hosting it, and a couple of years later went to syndication and took off like that. But Chuck didn't feel left out. He continued on his career in 1983. Chuck hosted a dating game show called Love Connection, which was a popular hit in syndication for many years. It was about a contestant appearing on the show and telling how the dates went with one of three potential people. It was so big of a hit, and he was famous for saying, "We'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds." That's the average time that a television shows in commercial, on average 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Also in 1984, Chuck Woolery hosted another game show on NBC called Scrabble, based on the famous crossword puzzle world game, and this lasted over 5 seasons, and it was several quotes he said, or several sayings. If you hit a tile that was no good, he called it the dreaded stopper and stuff. He was pretty good in that. Scrabble ended in 1990 on NBC, but it got revived for about 4 months in January 1993. Chuck was hosting it as well. Also, Chuck went to host at his own talk show with celebrities called The Chuck Woolery Show, which was in syndication in September 1991, but that only lasted a few months because it wasn't controversial and stuff, and it did get desirable time slots. It was shown in Boston on WBZ TV4 at 2 p.m., which was a reasonable time, but most of the country they showed it overnight or not at all. And Chuck continued to host Love Connection until it went off the air in 1994. Then reruns of it for the next few years. Then Chuck hosted a talk show on the Family Channel called Home and Family for about a couple of years. Then he tried to produce and revive an updated version of the classic TV game show Treasure Hunt that didn't sell, and he tried to develop a new dating show called It's a Date, but those didn't sell. And in 1997, Chuck Woolery returned to hosting game shows. He hosted an updated version of the dating game in syndication. It lasted 2 years, and it went off the air in 1999. But in November of 1999, Chuck Woolery hosted the TV game show on primetime on Fox called Greed, which was a big money game show which potential payoffs were $2 million. It was the Fox version of Who Wants to be a Millionaire, and they had a team of 5 try to win up to $2 million, but there was a lot of things like the Terminator and stuff. And if somebody hits the Terminator, they could knock out one player with a question and stuff. It was a pretty decent game show, Greed, but it only lasted maybe 9 months on Fox and stuff. Then Chuck hosted a game show on TV Land called The Ultimate TV Fan Game Show, which was a decent game show. And in 2002, Chuck Woolery hosted a new game show on the Game Show Network, GSN, called Lingo, which was about 5-letter words trying to guess it. And Lingo was a popular game show all over the world. It didn't have any success in the United States at all. It was all over the world except the United States. But the promos before Lingo, when they were hyping it, like Chuck playing a doctor and stuff like that, and you have a case of Lingo, and the patient's phrase said Lingo, and Lingo became very popular on Game Show Network, GSN, one of the best original game shows in GSN history. Chuck hosted it for about 7 seasons Also, Chuck did a lot of work for GSN. Like, he hosted his own reality show called Naturally Stoned, which showed the behind the scenes with Chuck and his family and stuff. It only lasted a few episodes. And also, Chuck did some voiceover work for GSN as well. He hosted some specials for GSN, like greatest game show moments and celebrities in game shows and how to win millions on game shows. And he also hosted this show Think Like a Cat. And Chuck also owns his own line of fishing equipment and stuff like that. He's on infomercials selling it. He appeared on Charlie Moore on Nesson a few times. And also, Chuck Woolery is writes a lot about politics and stuff and this and that. And he's still appears on GSN doing promos once in a while. And he's had a colorful career in the world of game shows and even country music and other stuff. So hats off to him. And that's about it on that. I'll be back later, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, with 3 more video blogs tomorrow. The first one's going to be about the top 10 greatest Minnesota Twins pitchers of all time. And then my review and analyst of how the 2015 Hall of Fame ballot went for baseball. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about Wink Martindale, game show host. It's this week's personality profiles are all about game show hosts. Tuesdays, Wink Martindale. Wednesdays, Bob Eubanks. And Thursdays, Alex Trebek. And don't forget, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, 7 more days until my reviews of the first 13 Royal Rumbles. And sooner and later, Julie Broughton and Heidi Pratt's video blogs will come in. Everybody's been dying for their video blogs. See you later, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.